So welcome back to my channel. My name's Angel and we're doing another 24-hour readathon. I apologize for this lighting. You'd think it's like super late. It's 5 o'clock at night in Canada, but it just gets pitch black now right away, so I have to be using overhead light and I'm so sorry because it's terrible. This readathon is mostly fueled because I have about 5 books left in my November TBR and only a couple days to finish those off. So we're doing the timer method over a couple of days. It's not going to be even like a 2-day thing. I think it's probably going to be 3 or 4 most likely. We're gonna see what I can bang out tonight. I've had a really tough day for being transparent, so I think honestly now I really need to dive into some books for the rest of the evening. Hopefully get at least 6 hours done tonight. That'd be lovely. That would take me right till about probably like 11:30 midnight with 0 stops. I go to bed about midnight to 1, so I can get a little bit more done if I'm relying on audiobooks. But it's also the Dancing with the Stars finale, so it's gonna be very broken up while I'm reading. So the lighting isn't great. If you guys like this new backdrop, please let me know because we should move my bookshelf over and now I kind of film here, which is kind of nice. You have all my books in the back and they're really cute. Priority TBR for the readathon are these 3 here. Reckless, I do only have about 100 pages left, so I think I'll finish that. And then next I have Some Kind of Perfect, which is the last book in the Addicted series. It's a 10-book series that if I could finish this year would be perfect. And then we have The Royal Assassin. I'm really scared of this book, but I want to read it during a 24-hour readathon or else I think I won't. The book before this, Assassin's Apprentice, was a book that put me into a 2-month slump. So I'm gonna hopefully use this as like the deciding factor on if I continue on with this series or not, because Realm of the Elderlings is like a 16 or 15 book interconnected big kind of series like Shadowhunters. So this would be like my feat for 2025, that and the Cosmere. Speaking of, next up would be the Well of Ascension book 2 in the Mistborn trilogy. I wouldn't speak too much on this one only because I'm filming this in a different vlog of like me reading the whole trilogy, but like I need to move on with it, so I'd probably include it in this vlog, but like not include a lot of full thoughts or reactions and put that in the other vlog. So it's 600 pages, but like the pages are packed. Like I think when I read Mistborn, it took me like a lot longer than I normally would to read a book that size. So this would definitely slow me down a little bit. And then probably before Well of Ascension on priority would be my reread of ACOTAR and to annotate that one. I'm really excited to dive into that series again and kind of get back into the SJM universe. But that is what we're looking like for now. So I'm gonna start with Reckless because I literally have like less than like 80 pages left, so I'll probably finish this in literally like just over half an hour. I'll feel accomplished, finish that off, and then pick my second read, which I think will be Some Kind of Perfect, but might be Royal Assassin if I'm feeling like a challenge, you know? Okay guys, timer is set to a whole day. Let's get it going. That's terrifying. Whenever I see that number, I'm always like, oh, I kind of regret this already. We have a really quick update because I have to run to work. It is the next morning. I only got to 20 hours and 50 minutes last night. I only read half of what I wanted to, but that happens. Tonight I think should be better reading wise. We'll see, but I still read a good chunk of this book. I finished Reckless and I did get to page 307 in Some Kind of Perfect, so like over a third, nearing half. This series, I can't lie, like I'm enjoying this, but I'm kind of over the series. Like I want it to be done. I feel like it was really repetitive, kind of like the same thing in different fonts over and over and over again. Does that make sense? But I just like need to finish it because by the time I realized I wasn't really loving it like as much as I should, I was in too deep. Does that make sense? And I did finish Reckless last night. The ending I thought was really good. However, like the book I felt was just a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of cat and mouse. It definitely was like the filler second fantasy book. You know, like I wasn't wowed by it at all. Like I think it'd be like a 3.5 star maybe. But I finished that, got 300 pages into this. Right now I'm going to start a timer on my phone while I'm driving around today and see how much of an audiobook I can get done. And then however much I read on my audiobook, I'll update onto my computer later so the timers match. I think I'm gonna start the audiobook of The Royal Assassin just because Some Kind of Perfect isn't on Spotify. So I'm gonna start that one, probably get like a chapter or 2 read in my driving today, but then maybe continue it later tonight by the time I finish this guy. But that's where we're at. Okay, Okay, friends, we have 18 hours and 7 minutes left on the timer still. If you guys didn't clue in, I did not read anything earlier today when I was like, oh, you know, I'm gonna listen to my audiobook and update. I didn't because I was at a Spotify listening hour, so I got into my car on the way to work. And on the way back, I forgot to purchase more so I could listen to it on the way home. So it is already 8:30 and I've been reading for almost 3 hours now. And I've made it close to the end of Kind of Perfect, and thank goodness. I am not enjoying this book whatsoever. Like, I'm just being 100% honest. I still have like 120 pages left because it ends here. Well, this is all bonus content. I have no desire to read this bonus content, to be honest. Like I said, the problem with this series is that it was so repetitive, and this book, there is no need for this. Like, this is just an epilogue novel with all their POVs and like kind of tying up their story. If it's like in 100 to 200 page novella max, I would have enjoyed it. This is ridiculous. I think between all the siblings, we have like 12 or 13 kids, and this entire book is just like, oh, they're pregnant, they're having the kid, this child is born. One random spice scene, oh, another child. I'm like, this is, if you loved, like if you were absolutely obsessed with this series, I can see why you would love this. I like enjoyed the series, but I'm like, every other book before this I rated like a 3.5 to 4 star. I think the highest one I rated was a 4.25. This would be a 2 to 2.5. I am not live laugh loving here, and that's not really a good vibe to have, especially going into my next read, which I think is still gonna be The Royal Assassin. I might have to like start this and like kind of audiobook it a little bit to help out while I'm reading, and then also break it up with ACOTAR a little bit if I need a break from this, because this is mentally draining. I feel like this can be a little bit draining as well in a whole different way. Unless maybe I just really pop off and I love it and it was just all circumstantial with The Assassin's Apprentice. But it's 8:30, 18 hours, 7 minutes. I'd like to think I could get it down to like 14 hours. So I just keep reading. That'd be nice. Because like if it's up on Friday and Saturday, and obviously Saturday it could be a longer reading day and it'd be broken up nice and it'd be 4 days long. But we will see where this keeps going. I haven't had any coffee yet today, but I just made a hot apple cider as my first like drink of the evening to kind of get me through this. I fear tea is next. Wish me luck. I feel like every single update I've given the past like 2 updates have been in my bed, but that's what I'm reading a lot, guys. I'm just really cozy and comfy, and it's winter, it's snowing outside now, so I just want to be warm, so let me read. We still have 15 hours and 40 minutes left on the timer. It is already past 5 o'clock tonight. It's Friday though, so tomorrow is Saturday. I still have full faith that if like I really like trudge on, we can finish this tomorrow. Let's hope. Today I could do probably at least 4 hours minimum. We might be going out tonight bowling for a little bit, so if I don't go bowling, probably 6+, if we don't 4. But I am a whopping 99 pages into Royal Assassin. I will say I read this a lot slower than I normally do. I think I was reading at like 50 to 60 pages an hour, but it was also like midnight while I was reading it, and also I say like this text kind of like takes a bit more to get into, if that makes sense. Like the writing style, you have to just like adjust it when you get in. It's very like old fantasy, I think is the best way I would say, like describe it. But big plus is I'm actually kind of interested this time. I'm actually like drawn in, because you know when I read The Assassin's Apprentice, it put me into a 2-month reading slump, and I had to like reread those first like 30 pages probably 5 to 6 times. Those slides are crazy. This one I've been reading with the audiobook, and I find that's been really helping. I listen to the audio as I read along, and I think that's probably why I'm reading a little bit slower too, but it's helped me understand a lot more, and I'm actually very interested. So not should probably knock on wood somewhere, but I do still have like 600 more pages of this though, so here's hoping. I will finish this tonight or early tomorrow, and that's our ACOTAR, and then we'll have Ascension, but good vibes so far. We're gonna get the timer going again. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm struggling a little bit. I was almost just falling asleep in bed. I've only been reading for an hour. Also, this book's gonna be a little bit longer to read, and I don't like be like, oh, it's taking me longer. I'm only reading like 90 pages an hour. But I normally read like 110 to 130 minimum. So I'm slowing down a little bit, but I think it's because I'm realizing like high adult fantasy is gonna take longer to read. I did have to bust open a Red Bull because I quite literally was like falling asleep at 5:30 trying to read. That's why when I started at 5:30, it's 7 and I've only read for an hour. So I kept pausing it to try to wake myself up a little bit. But I'm doing a lot more. We're gonna keep going. I'm hoping as I can get like below 10 hours tonight, but I don't know how it's gonna go. Friends, I have 12 hours and 40 minutes on the timer, and it is 11:30. We just got back. We went bowling tonight. So I'd love to do under at least 12 hours tonight. Hopefully more. I'm nearing halfway on Royal Assassin, and I'm actually really enjoying it. But I think I'm going to take a little bit of a break from this for now and switch to an ebook just because I'm going to be holding a physical book in bed at 11:30 at night when I'm trying to read. So I'm going to quickly download the ACOTAR series, and I'm going to start my reread of that, which I'm very, very excited for. And hopefully like that excitement will fuel me to stay up to like at least 1 a.m. But also I don't want to stay up too late because I have a big day of reading tomorrow. And it's like a lot I have to do tomorrow too. Like tomorrow's like a very busy day. I really hope I can finish this tomorrow. I should, but we'll see. So wish me luck. Don't mind this angle, and I currently also have the hiccups. So I'm gonna see what I can get through. Last night I had to go to bed. I had to call it quits. I was so tired. This morning I put in like almost 2 hours of reading. I'm pretty much at 9.5 hours, which is kind of nice. But it's already 11 o'clock in the morning, so I'm gonna get a bit more done before now. Last night in ACOTAR I got chapter 19, but I do feel like I wasn't like highlighting as much as I thought I was going to. I think it's because I was very tired though. And then this morning I've listened to about 5 more chapters on audio, 4 or 5 of Royal Assassin. I wasn't really awake yet to read a physical book, so I did an audiobook for that whole time. About like 100 pages or so. I'm here now. I'm actually really enjoying this one. Like, I find it so funny because I said I was terrified to read this book, but I'm really enjoying it. Right now it's like at least a 4-star, I think. I'm actually having a lot of fun. But I'm hoping to finish this in the next 3 to 4 hours would be nice. And then we'll finish ACOTAR, and I probably have to finish it in this vlog, but I will start the Well of Ascension. That's kind of good because the Mistborn trilogy is gonna be in its own reading vlog. I'll probably just like edit whenever and then give you guys updates on my thoughts in that vlog. 9.5 hours. We're finishing this today. Let's go. Friends, I apologize for the perfect lighting. It is almost 6 o'clock at night now. It's 5:48. I finished up Royal Assassin and ACOTAR, so we're diving into our next read. Timer is at 4 hours, 8 minutes, and 44 seconds. It is currently 5:46, and I am going to a movie at 9:45. So as you can see by that math, I'm not going to finish before I go to the movie. I probably won't get home till like right around midnight. So I'll be finishing up probably the last like half hour to hour when I get home. But thoughts, ACOTAR, giving a second read through. I think I actually enjoyed it more on my second read through than on my first. I flew through that. I know I do read SJM pretty fast, but like I felt like I read it very, very quickly. I went through and annotated some things, and it was kind of funny just like going back to that first book and remembering how I felt when I first read it. I was on vacation. I was like struggling to read it almost. I was really enjoying it. I was like, I think everybody like really sees in this, like why everybody loves it as much as they do. And then now knowing everything that's come from that author in that series and like how much it means to me now. Throne of Glass, subjectively my favorite series in the entire world. So I'm kind of seeing what came of picking up that one book. Is so much fun. Royal Assassin, I'm eating my words about the first book. First book I did put me into 2 and 3 in slump. This was so good. I think it's like a 4.25 to 4.5. I really enjoyed this. I think the problem with the first book was that I read it at the wrong time and I wasn't invested in the characters. And I feel like in this one she really grew upon the characters a lot, where now I actually care about them and I'm very invested. It is pretty slow, epic fantasy, character driven, so if that's not like your thing, it might not work for you. But the first book did not work. This one definitely did. I have heard this is the best book in the series, I'm pretty sure. And the next book people like love or hate. But actually, to keep with the series now, it's just funny because I really thought I was not going to read any of her other works. And now I've read this, I'm pretty sure I might read the entire Realm of the Elderlings, which was not expected. Which means it is time, friends. It is time. I'm not ready. I If you guys don't know, I am reading this separately for another vlog where I'm reading the entire Mistborn trilogy, so my full thoughts aren't probably gonna be in this too much. But I'm kind of just going through like how far I am along in it. Also, I don't think I'm gonna finish it in this vlog. I have 4 hours and 8 minutes left. This is a 600-page book, so probably will not get finished. There's like a million words each page, so I read these books very slow. So I'm thinking probably about like, I might reach about halfway. I'd say that time like 300 or so pages might be good. And then I'll kind of like say like where I'm at, if I'm enjoying it, and then I'll give my full thoughts on it in my Mistborn reading vlog. I am gonna get going with this. I do believe I have 2 Audible credits right now, so I'm gonna use one for this book probably, and for the majority of it listen along while I read because I do enjoy that. I'm also going to download the ebook of this because I do want to annotate this book. If you guys don't know how I've been annotating, is annotating on an e-reader first. That way I don't have anxiety about picking categories without knowing what I'm getting into, colors, all that jazz. I annotate my ebook, know exactly what I want to annotate, then create categories based off what I've highlighted, and then put in the book afterwards. That's just how my brain works. But 4 hours and 8 minutes left. Let's see how much I can get done. Also, I keep being like, oh, I haven't really finished that many books. So I've clearly finished 4, but one I only had like 75 pages left of. Then I realized Akatar is 400 pages, Some Kind of Perfect was 800, and Royal Assassin was 700. So like clearly I have read a lot. Like I've read almost 2,000 pages so far, like 100 pages an hour. But for me, it just feels like I read a lot, so I read 3 and like 0.25 books. I can't dive back into this, to be honest. I love the first book so much, and I think I'm gonna be such a huge fan of Brandon Sanderson, so let's go. Friends, we're trying the movie. I showed the timer. It's at 46 minutes and 39 seconds, so we're almost there. I've been flying through this book. I'm really enjoying it. I just started part 3 called King, and so that's page 257. It's probably like 80 or so pages an hour. I've been reading for like 3 hours and like 15 minutes or so. So we're gonna get home from the movies around midnight, and then I will still sit down and finish this. So I'll probably finish right around 1 a.m. or so, but I'm feeling good. I think all the books I've read in this readathon so far I've really enjoyed, so I'm calling this one a win. Alright friends, I feel like all I keep saying nowadays that this lighting is less than ideal. However, we're here to wrap up this video because I am done the 24-hour readathon. It took me 4 days and I finished clearly only 3 full books, but then half of one and like 100 pages of another. But they were thickies. They were thickies. I meant business. The first one I finished was Reckless by Lauren Roberts. This one is the one I only had like 75 pages left to read when I actually started this. This one I will say, up until the point actually that I started reading for this readathon, this book kind of just dragged for me, and it was a lot of cat and mouse back and forth. Kind of like typical second fantasy book where it's kind of like you're just journeying. I don't want to call it like a filler book, but it did kind of feel like that. But I like the ending a lot. I thought it set up the next book very well. I'm not sure we needed a whole book of what felt like mostly nothing to get there. And I keep saying it's nothing. There was like, it felt like not a lot of plot with banter. That's what it felt like. And I hate like, I don't want to be like harsh, and I'm like giving like harsh reviews, but to be honest, this doesn't really hit that hard for me. It's probably about 3.5 star max. I want to chuck this book at a wall. I'm not even exaggerating. This book, I would honestly go as far as to say it's like a 2.5. Maybe a 3, it's probably 2.5. That's even pretty generous because I cannot really think of like much I enjoyed about this book. Pretty much this was an epilogue novel, and they actually call it that. It's called an epilogue novel. That could have been 100 pages instead of 800. It was just so repetitive. It was like, oh, we're gonna have a kid. Oh my God, they had their kid. And it was like, there's a dozen children. And then it was just like, oh, here's like one little story that happened. Oh, here's some smut. Oh, here's a child. That's all it was. I feel like a lot of the male characters, especially that I enjoyed in previous books, really rubbed me the wrong way in this book, and I did not enjoy them at all. There was one instance where like Lo grounded one of their kids for something, and I was like, that's on you. And I was just maybe really upset. I think I might have just like not noticed when I was reading it, but Reich literally, like if he was over his POV, there was like 20 F-bombs on the page minimum. Even when he's talking to his kids, he'd be like, you're so effing cute. I'm like, what? Why do you gotta say that? Like, anyways, they went to turn around and I read Royal Assassin. This one was a very pleasant surprise. I think I'm giving it like a 4.25, 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I kind of said the same thing in my reading wrap up too, but pretty much book 1, I think I really struggled with because I wasn't used to the writing style yet, and also was a very slow paced, character driven high fantasy, which I had never read before. This is not the same thing, but at least now I felt like she built upon a lot of the characters and fleshed them out a lot more, and so at least I cared about them. I feel like I also enjoyed the plot a bit more in this one. I think that's because I knew what was going on a bit more. I think the first book I was really out of it because first of all, I was taking so long to read it. I kept forcing myself. I had to reread parts I wasn't paying attention, and I just think like I didn't really fully I was able to fully enjoy that first book. And now this one, I actually was engaged the whole time. It's definitely redeemed the series for me, and so I will keep going on now. I did my reread of ACOTAR, and that one I thoroughly enjoyed. I do think it's around the same rating as last time at 3.75 to 4 star. But like I already said, it was just so nostalgic reading this. I think it's one of the first books I ever read, going back into reading in my adult years. Just like having that nostalgia, and it was also, I'm pretty sure, the first fantasy book I ever read. Besides like middle grade and like high school books, I think it's the first fantasy I ever read in my adult years, so it holds a very special place in my heart. And lastly, Mistborn. I think I've only read 2 more chapters now since finishing this. I'm like filming this like a day later. I got pretty much halfway. I got to page like 320, I believe is where I got. I am thoroughly enjoying this so far. Like, so I'm not going to talk too much on this because I'm doing a whole reading vlog for this trilogy, so you're going to see all my full thoughts in there. But I am really loving this so far. Because I feel like I only read about 6 books in readathon, so only finishing like 3 full ones and then like a half and a quarter feels pretty like I didn't do as much as I normally do. However, these are thickies, so I accomplished lots. If you guys are enjoying Vlogmas so far, if you guys like today's video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. I'm also on TikTok at Angel's Book Corner, and I'll see you guys in the next video.